The 16th century marked an important period in European history, characterized by profound religious upheaval and the birth of Protestantism. This era, known as the Protestant Reformation, fundamentally altered the religious, political, and social fabric of Europe. It challenged the hegemony of the Roman Catholic Church, leading to significant doctrinal disputes, wars, and the eventual splintering of Western Christianity. Here in this video, we explore the causes, key figures, and consequences of the religious crisis that gave birth to Protestantism. Causes of the religious crisis. Corruption in the Catholic Church. By the early 16th century, widespread corruption plagued the Catholic Church. The sale of indulgences, which promised the reduction of punishment for sins, epitomized the moral decay within the Church. Clergy members, from local priests to high-ranking officials, were often seen as more concerned with wealth and power than with spiritual guidance. The opulent lifestyle of the papacy and the clergy's involvement in secular politics further eroded the Church's moral authority. Intellectual and cultural shifts. The Renaissance, which began in the 14th century, brought about significant intellectual and cultural changes. Humanism, a Renaissance intellectual movement that emphasized the study of classical texts and human potential, encouraged people to question traditional authority and seek knowledge independently. This shift laid the groundwork for critical examination of the Church's practices and doctrines. Political factors. The rise of nation-states and powerful monarchs also contributed to the religious crisis. Kings and princes saw an opportunity to assert their authority over the Church and reduce its influence within their realms. The growing sense of nationalism made the universal authority of the Pope increasingly untenable. Key figures and events. Martin Luther. Martin Luther, a German monk and theologian, is often credited as the catalyst of the Protestant Reformation. In 1517, Luther famously nailed his 95 Theses to the door of the Wittenberg Castle Church. These theses criticized the sale of indulgences and called for a return to what Luther saw as the true teachings of the Bible. His insistence on sola scriptura, scripture alone, as the basis of faith and sola fide, faith alone, for salvation directly challenged the Catholic Church's doctrines. Luther's ideas rapidly spread across Europe, facilitated by the recently invented printing press. Despite being excommunicated by Pope Leo X in 1521 and declared an outlaw by the Holy Roman Emperor Charles V, Luther's teachings continued to gain followers, leading to the establishment of Lutheranism. John Calvin. John Calvin, a French theologian, was another pivotal figure in the Reformation. His work, Institutes of the Christian Religion, published in 1536, systematized Protestant theology and introduced the doctrine of predestination. Calvinism emphasized the absolute sovereignty of God and the idea that salvation was predetermined for a select few. Calvin's ideas took root particularly in Switzerland, Scotland, and the Netherlands, further diversifying the Protestant movement. The English Reformation. In England, the Reformation took a different course, driven largely by political motives. King Henry VIII's desire to annul his marriage to Catherine of Aragon led to a break with the Catholic Church after Pope Clement VII refused his request. The Act of Supremacy in 1534 declared the king the supreme head of the Church of England, marking the beginning of Anglicanism. Although initially more politically than theologically motivated, the English Reformation eventually adopted many Protestant doctrines. Consequences of the Reformation. Religious fragmentation. The Reformation resulted in the fragmentation of Western Christianity into multiple denominations. Lutheranism, Calvinism, Anglicanism, and later other Protestant sects such as Anabaptism emerged, each with its own distinct beliefs and practices. This pluralism ended the religious uniformity of medieval Europe. Religious wars and conflicts. The religious divide led to decades of violent conflict. The German Peasants' War, 1524 to 1525, the French Wars of Religion, 1562 to 1598, and the 30 Years' War, 1618-1648, were among the many conflicts fueled by religious tensions. These wars caused immense suffering and significantly altered the political landscape of Europe. The Catholic Counter-Reformation. In response to the Protestant Reformation, the Catholic Church initiated its own series of reforms known as the Counter-Reformation. The Council of Trent, 1545 to 1563, addressed many of the issues raised by Protestants, reaffirming core Catholic doctrines and improving clerical discipline. New religious orders, such as the Jesuits, played a crucial role in revitalizing the Catholic Church and spreading its influence globally. Conclusion: the religious crisis of the 16th century and the birth of Protestantism represent a watershed moment in European history. The Reformation not only transformed the religious landscape, but also had profound social, political, and cultural implications. It challenged the authority of the Catholic Church, led to the rise of religious pluralism, and set the stage for the modern age. The legacy of the Reformation continues to shape the world today, underscoring the enduring impact of this pivotal period.